rotate your phone. Okay.
Alright, hi guys, welcome to Mondays at the Mound. I'm Sloane again with our program today. We are going to be talking about raptors here at Rock Eagle. So if you're thinking about raptors, you can go ahead and name some in the comments as we're talking. A raptor is a type of bird. Now we're not talking about velociraptors, although birds are closely related to dinosaurs. We are talking about a special type of bird that is adapted for hunting live prey. And some of these raptors can hunt animals as large as small deer or skunks. Some raptors are teeny tiny and hunt things like mice and voles and insects. And the raptors that we're going to be talking about today are those that we can find here in Georgia. So it is time for us to meet our first raptor. Look, there's one right there. Hello. So we have our first raptor. Raptor, I will let you introduce yourself and tell everyone what makes you so special. How are you different from a bluebird, a blue jay, or a woodpecker? What makes a raptor a raptor?
All right, we're going to get started with that then. So there are a few key features about myself that I'm going to tell you about. So the first one is what you may notice first about me, my big eyes that are fixed at the front of my head right here. These things are perfect for seeing prey, like small little mice or maybe a rabbit jumping through a field. That is what I'm going to be looking for to catch for my dinner. Once I do catch my dinner, I'm going to use my sharp hooked pointed beak to tear the skin, the flesh, whatever off of the bones of that, let's say it's a rabbit, of that prey or of that rabbit for my dinner. Oh my goodness. So now that you've learned about that, we'll move on to my lovely feathers that you can see here. They cover my body. They're all different colors. They are brown, white, different types of brown, and they have some pattern to them as well. If I were to be up in the trees today or hiding amongst the leaves, then you may not see me very easily. They help me to camouflage myself. I remain hidden from that prey. Maybe I'm trying to hunt down a squirrel and I'm in the tree just above it. He would never see me because I blend in. Or maybe I'm a smaller raptor like the American kestrel. They're really, really tiny little birds here. Maybe I want to hide from a larger predator. So even birds of prey can become prey themselves. So maybe I want to hide from a predator and I can blend into my surroundings. These feathers help me do that. Of course, they also help me fly. So whether I'm soaring high above a field, catching the air that helps me stay up in the air or up in the sky, or maybe I am swooping down among the trees to catch my prey, these feathers are going to help me stay steady, help me flap my wings, and get to where I need to go. Oh, but these feathers, they're a little hot. We're gonna get rid of them for now. So, some other parts of my feathers are my lovely tail feathers. You can see that they're here on the back part of my body. They help me stay balanced when I'm up in a tree. Maybe it's a windy day, kind of like it was yesterday. Maybe it's a windy day and I'm trying to stay balanced while I'm doing my hunting. These tail feathers are going to help me keep that balance. But since I'm on the ground, I don't really need those right now. We'll get rid of them. All right, the next thing you may notice are my beautiful shin guards. They cover almost all of my legs, and these are here for when I do scoop up that squirrel. I don't know if you've ever been scratched by a squirrel before, but it actually really hurts. So when I do get that squirrel, he's gonna try to fight back against me, and he's gonna fight and fight and fight with those little claws, and I don't wanna get scratched by my prey. That's embarrassing. So my shin guards, maybe they are kind of scaly and tough scales to help them protect my skin. Even some birds have feathery shin guards to help protect their skin, so those feathers are nice and thick to keep my legs safe from those claws. But I don't really see any prey around here right now, so I'm gonna get rid of those. The final unique part of my body are my talons. So these talons are sharp, they are long, and they are very strong. They're great for gripping my prey. They're exactly what I need to make a quick grab, and they are right at the bottom of my feet so that I can swoop down and just pick up what I need to get. But like I said, there's no prey around here. So for now, I'm just gonna be a human for the rest of the video. So now that we know what features make a raptor unique, we are actually going to meet our first raptor that we have here at Rock Eagle. So this is a bird that you may have seen before, maybe not in the wild because they are kind of hard to spot. They're nocturnal, they're great at camouflage, but they're very common in Georgia. So maybe you have seen them in different parts of Georgia, maybe at a zoo, or maybe here at Rock Eagle while you were visiting.
All right. For our first raptor, we are, besides Miss Anna, we're going to be talking about a great horned owl. So this is our great horned owl ambassador that lives at Rock Eagle. And she has a very distinct look about her. Great horned owls are easy to identify because they have those big yellow eyes, and then you might not be able to see them, but she's got some tufts of feathers on top of her head, and that's where she gets her name from, the great horned owl. Now those tufts of feathers, they actually look like they should be her ears, but in fact those are just feathers. They're actually called plumicorns. So instead of being a unicorn, she has plumicorn. Good. And those feathers help her to camouflage. So even though they're not her ears, they do help her camouflage because great horned owls, they are active at dawn and dusk and usually at night. So when there's not a lot of light out. And they want to stay nice and hidden from their prey during the daytime. That's okay. So they want to stay nice and hidden during the daytime so that they can get some relaxation and sleep and prepare for hunting at night. Good. And during the daytime, those tufts on top of their head are going to help them camouflage. Because when they blow in the wind, just like leaves will blow on a tree, they'll help break up her camouflage or her silhouette and help her to camouflage that little bit of movement at a time. The next thing you might notice about the great horned owl are their eyes. They have huge yellow eyes, and those eyes are really unique. If our eyes were the same size as a great horned owl's were compared to our body, then our eyes would be the size of oranges. So owls have relatively large eyes compared to their body, and her eyes are forward facing, so she is an active hunter. A great horned owls, some of their favorite food are actually skunks. So they are large enough to take down skunks. And continuing to look at her, you'll notice that she's moving her head around, she's looking at everything, taking in the sights and the sounds. She's going to use her large eyes to help her with that, but you might notice that she can turn her head pretty far. Some people think that owls can turn their head a full circle, so 360 degrees, but actually owls can only turn their head 270 degrees. So that's about 3/4 of a circle. If we were looking at a clock and we started at the 12 o'clock position and went all the way around to the 9 o'clock position, then that would be 270 degrees. If you want to, you can try and turn your head at home. Good. Just a little reward for her. If you try and turn your head, you might get over your shoulder to where you can look behind you, but you can't turn it all the way around till you look over your opposite shoulder. An owl can. And the reason that they are adapted to do that is because of the way their eyes are shaped. So our eyes are spheres, and an owl's eyes are actually shaped like light bulbs. I think Anna's going to show us an example.
Human eyes?
Good.
Owl eyes.
So an owl's eyes are shaped like that light bulb. Most of their eye is actually tucked inside their skull. And so they have specialized bones around their eyes that help hold their eyes in place. So an owl cannot actually rotate their eyes inside their head. So an owl is never good. Is never going to get in trouble with a parent for rolling their eyes at their parent. Good. Good. And thus they can move their head 270 degrees. You might also notice as she's taking a little bit of food reward that we can see her sharp curved beak that she's going to use to shred up her prey. And then you might be noticing that if the tufts on top of her head are not her ears, where are her ears then? So her ears, we can't actually see them, but her ears are tucked kind of below her eyes, and Anna can show us on her face where an owl's ears would be positioned. Good. On an owl, good. One ear is going to be much higher than the other one, so their ears are actually asymmetrical, and that allows them to hear not only what's on the left and the right, but also what's up high and what's down low. So they really rely on their hearing to help them find food. Alright. I'll let Anna continue talking about the owl's ears. And I'm going to go put our ambassador back. But Anna has a really cool fact to share with you about an owl's ears.
All right. So yeah, we know that the tufts on top of an owl's head, a great horned owl's head, are not its ears, not its horns. Rather, we know that its ears are on its disc-shaped face. They are asymmetrical, like we said. And when an owl hears a sound, maybe a scurry down on the ground below them, maybe they hear a different owl in a tree away from them, all those sounds, even though they're coming from different directions, will get funneled in towards the center of their face, and they can really hone in on exactly where that sound is coming from. This is one of those things that helps them become expert hunters. You don't want to mess with a great horned owl if you are a prey item, or even another bird, really. So some cool things that we have to show you. So we were just talking about an owl, right? So we have the wing of a great horned owl here. So we have a few specimens that we have acquired over the years. So this is from a great horned owl. You can see that it is pretty large. Like we said, that this is the largest owl that you can find in the state of Georgia. We also have the wing of an eastern screech owl. So these are both owls that you can find here in Georgia, but they are very, very different. They have different features, even though they are related. The eastern screech owl can be either this reddish, sort of rusty color, like the one that we see here, or they can also be more of a gray color. Either color that they have really helps them blend in with their surroundings, maybe with a tree that they're hiding in. Even if they were sitting down on the ground for some reason, they would blend in really well. These little guys are tiny and also nocturnal and great at camouflage, so it's very unlikely that you would actually get to see an eastern screech owl in the wild, but it's very possible that you have actually heard one calling before. So we have already talked a lot about how raptors are birds of prey. They are expert hunters. They have all these different features that help them be the best at being birds of prey. One really special thing that our owls have, it has to do with the way that their feathers are structured. So they have what we call serrated feathers. So at the very, very end, if you were to look at these feathers under a microscope, it would almost look like their feathers are frayed at the end. It's kind of like barbed almost. That helps them break up the wind that moves through their feathers as they are flying. And when that wind is dispersed and broken up, then they are silent. It is almost impossible to hear them. And that really comes to their advantage when they're hunting. So to demonstrate that, I have this piece of rope. And the cool thing about what I'm about to explain is that you can do this at your house. So if you have any kind of rope, and maybe even like a large piece of string, something sturdy is what you would need. You can actually, with your parents' permission, don't go tearing up the rope, but you can actually fray one end of that rope like we have done right here, and then leave another end normal, nice and woven together. So you may not be able to hear through the camera right now, but if you were to swing this rope around, make sure you are giving yourself some distance between other people, then you'll be able to hear the whirring noise that this rope makes. Maybe it's loud enough for you to hear it through the phone. But so that's what a normal raptor would sound like. Let's say a red-tailed hawk. That's what his wings sound like. But the frayed end represents what our owl wings sound like, or don't sound like rather. Okay, so if you spin it around really quickly, I don't hear anything. And if you do this at home, you also won't hear anything. That is what makes owls great predators. So we also have, as you can see, some other wings laid out here for you. So this is a red-tailed hawk. We already mentioned him very briefly. These are some of the most common raptors that you can see here in Georgia. We see them all the time here at Rock Eagle. You know that you're seeing a red-tailed hawk because maybe you hear them before. They have a very distinct call. But if you look up into the sky, you'll see their white underside, and you'll notice their rust-colored tail. These are very vibrant, very noticeable, and it is a tail sign that you are seeing this particular bird. So they are pretty common, like I said, in Georgia. We see them all the time here in Rock Eagle, and I think that you might also get the chance to meet one in just a second here. So it looks like Sloane is bringing a red-tailed hawk down for us to see. You'll notice that while Sloane and I are standing here, we are making sure we stand one turkey vulture wingspan length away from each other. That is approximately 6 feet. It's longer than my wingspan. All right, and here comes Sloane with our next bird.
All right. So we have a red-tailed hawk ambassador to show you today. You notice they look a little bit different than the owl. You can see her beautiful rust-colored tail there. These birds have that characteristic sharp curved beak. She's still got those forward-facing eyes. Good. But because she is diurnal, her coloration's a little bit different than the owl. So you'll notice that her chest is white and her back is brown. So she has what we call counter shading, and that means that an animal, their bellies or their ventral side is lighter colored and their backs are darker colored. And that means that when a squirrel is looking up and potentially looking for a predator above them, her white belly is going to blend in with the sun and the light from the sun. But if a squirrel or another bird's looking down, her brown feathers on her back, they're going to blend in with the ground. So she's camouflaged in two directions. And lots of animals have this counter shading. Good. Some of the most obvious ones are going to be great white sharks, penguins, orcas, but even animals like alligators and fish also have counter shading. You can see her large feet. Good. That she's going to use to catch her prey. And you can also see those scales there on her feet that we talked about for her shin guards. Now, red-tailed hawks, they have amazing eyesight. Good. Because they have over 1 million photoreceptors in their eyes. Good. Whereas we have only 250,000. So they have 4 times as many as us. And some people say that a red-tailed hawk can see up to a mile away. So they have amazing eyesight to be able to navigate and find their food. And these are a very common hawk. They do well hunting squirrels in people's yards. So you might see a red-tailed hawk flying around your neighborhood. But I'll let Anna talk to you guys a little bit about ways that you can help conserve these raptors because they are oftentimes found in human landscapes.
Okay, so yeah, we have talked a lot about how common these red-tailed hawks are. Personally, one of the times I see them the most is when I'm driving in my car. And here in Eatonton, we have a lot of open fields, and that's where these guys like to hunt. Unfortunately, sometimes the prey that our red-tailed hawks like to go after will scurry into the road, maybe on a highway, or maybe even a smaller road or a street, and the hawk does not know that he doesn't need to go on the road. And that maybe it's a mouse or a rat. Those rodents will go into the road, the hawk will go after it, and can become a victim of a car collision. That can be very, very bad for our hawks. It can injure or even kill them, and they don't quite understand that the road is not their friend. One of the reasons that a rodent might scurry over into the road or to the side of the road is because maybe you are eating an apple while you're in your car. And an apple is not necessarily litter, right? It's biodegradable, so you think, oh, I can just throw it out the window. Totally fine. It's not littering. It's not going to hurt something like an animal if that animal were to eat it. Unfortunately, while that may be true, you know, an apple's not going to kill a mouse, but that mouse might be attracted to that apple on the side of the road, run over towards it, and then that is when the hawk could unfortunately encounter a vehicle. So, a super, super easy way that we can help out our friends, our raptor friends that we have learned about today, is just keep that apple core in your car. Maybe compost it when you get home. Things like that. Super simple. And then, of course, we don't want to throw actual trash out on the side of the road because that's a whole host of other problems. So these are some really simple ways that we can help out not just our hawks and maybe even owls, but really all wildlife that we have here in Georgia. We definitely don't want to lure them to the road on accident. So, you guys, those are the rock eagle raptors that we have for you guys to meet. We hope that you definitely learned something and that now, maybe if you see something up in the sky, you'll be better able to identify it. Or maybe even if it's at night and you hear an owl calling, you'll know, oh, maybe it's a screech owl or a great horned owl. You can definitely look up those calls and it'll help you identify different birds that we have here. So that could be a fun thing that you do while you are spending some time at home. Feel free to leave any questions or comments that you have in the comments section of our video. We are happy to answer any questions that you have, and we hope that you have a great Monday. Thanks for joining us at Monday at the Mound, and then tomorrow you'll have Tuesday at Tybee, and they will talk a little bit more with you about birds in general and how you can be a birder yourself. All right, bye you guys.